Come on, baby, don't fail us now. Okay. Good morning. Welcome to Faith in Four Letter Words, the group chat. I'm Tara Thomas.
And I'm Amanda Goodman. Thanks so much for joining us on this Friday morning. We call it the group chat because we want to let you know that we're all in this together. It's your morning reminder. You're not behind, you're not failing, and you're not the only one trying to hold it together.
Love that. We decided to do a reboot and a rebrand, if you will. We had many iterations of our live stream over the past year, and we finally landed on making it more interactive, hence the updated title of the group chat. And we'd love for you, if you're at home or you're in a position where you can interact with us, we'd love to get your comments and feedback as we live stream simultaneously right now on our Facebook page and our YouTube channel. We sound really
official.
Like big time gamers right now.
I mean, it's kind of cool. You know, what's the most exciting thing is that we have this amazing team behind us out of Des Moines, Iowa, who is kind of reignited. And, you know, we're going back to the OGs. I mean, we were OG morning show anchors. And
Correct.
and correct me if I'm wrong, but I was an evening anchor for much longer, but morning show was my favorite because that's where you could talk and that's where your personality could come out. And that's where you could, you know, connect with the viewers a lot more and you could do the fun news.
Yeah. You could chat, hence, you get the pun.
Well done.
So I think one thing that we should also mention is just how, for a lot of us, it's been a tough week because that first week back after the holidays is always overwhelming because you're sort of finding your, groove again, because a lot of you are off most of or part of the time during the holidays from work. And then, the kids are going back. And so they're tired and there's the crabbiness. And then add to it, in a lot of cases, like with myself, you've committed to this is my year to get healthy, exercise more, all the things. And so I feel like there's an inordinate amount of pressure that's on us during a week that's like a hard adjustment.
It's a very hard adjustment. And the worst thing that you can do is what I did. I stepped on the scale because I had a doctor's appointment. And normally I step on the scale backwards because I don't want to know how much I weigh. It's too much pressure. But when the doctor, they take the packet and they put it in front of you and then you see your weight. And I gained 8 pounds in 2 weeks.
Same.
Which I didn't want to look at the weight because I thoroughly enjoyed my holiday feast.
Yeah, you did the traditional Italian.
We do the Feast of the Seven Fishes on Christmas Eve, and that was amazing. And then Christmas Day, it's just the 6 of us. So we have kids, what's your favorite meal? What's your favorite dish that you want to bring?
Love that.
So we have ham, green bean casserole, baked mac and cheese, pierogi, shrimp. And if you don't know what a pierogi is, we eat our faces off. So yeah.
So I'm going to pull up on my phone and make sure that we're following. If anyone has any comments, feedback.
And it looks like they're coming up right up there.
Yeah.
Too.
Oh, and I think we can see. Oh, thank you. And I don't have actually my vision is good enough that I don't need reading glasses because I have monovision. I got LASIK years ago and it was before it was the blade LASIK before they had the bladeless laser. And my parents were in another room and they had a close-up of my eyeball and they were watching the blade cutting my eyeball.
I cannot.
And one of my eye surfaces wasn't the condition of it or the scope of the surface of my eye. It didn't allow them to apply the laser. So I have monovision where I can see far away with one eye and I can see up close with the other eye, which renders actually in a test crazily like a 20-20 split. But here's the thing, I can only see clearly one armpit if I'm shaving because the other one is blurry. The other one is blurry. You get it? Because you're
I started with astigmatism, and because life is hilarious, these are trifocals.
Oh, and they look great. Isn't it nice how they've advanced trifocals? So you're not I would have the librarian with the beads and peering over the tip of your nose.
I'll wear the beaded necklace, let it hang down. I make my life. But last night I was trying to it was a couple nights ago. I was taking NyQuil because I still wasn't feeling well. And I didn't know when my last dose was. And I didn't have my glasses on. And I did the whole thing where I had to get the glasses on because I couldn't even. And I'm like, when did I get to this
happens.
point?
I know. You wake up one day and you're your parents for sure. Right? We'll I will acknowledge some of the people that are watching just to give them a shout out. Deetris, good morning to you. Dar, Dina, and Kelly, thank you for commenting. And again, if you have any feedback or comments based on some of what we're going to get into this hour, we would love to acknowledge, answer, interact in a group chat style.
Right. Yeah. And we are going to talk the top of the hour. We're going to talk a little bit about the top headlines in the news, of course. The entire nation, the entire world's focused on Minnesota, Minneapolis right now, of course, in the beginning of the week. An ICE agent shot and killed a woman who, at the time, the ICE agent said that she was taking the car and driving through the ICE agents. If you watch the video, it tells a slightly different story. We're not going to get into opinions here. We're going to keep it fact-based.
Absolutely.
So that woman was called down to participate in the protest by her wife. Her surviving wife is now saying that she feels guilty for even making that phone call for driving her down. We don't know the conversation in that car, but the video tells a very different story. Unlike any other news broadcast, we're not going to give the play-by-play of the video. We believe in old school news. You watch it yourself and you draw your own conclusion and your own opinion. So that is that. And also, of course, the other thing that is plaguing Minnesota right now is the $1 billion daycare scheme.
Yes. And we should mention, it was interesting. I watched some of the vice president's news conference in regard to that ICE shooting and the history of the individual who I believe is the ICE agent that did pull the trigger. He had previously been in a situation where a protester or somebody trying to stop ICE had hit him and had, I think, some 33 stitches in his leg and was injured. So it's a tough situation because, one might argue, well, he was clearly a lot more sensitive knowing that he had already had a serious injury. And I think that's what reminded me of how much we know from talking over the years as news people with the world of public safety or law enforcement. And I would put ICE agents in that category. It is a very stressful situation when you're dealing with public circumstances where somebody or a particular group might have an inclination to try to stop you, not just by peaceful protest, but by actual physical intervention or force. And so I always watch that, like she said, with an open mind, because I just can't imagine how that would feel like in that situation for all involved. I mean, that would be a scary, horrible thing to think that, my loved one might be run over or somebody might be wanting to intentionally harm them when, again, anyone in law enforcement, or in this case, sent out as an ICE agent, I mean, they have to follow the charge they've been given, and that's their job. And so, we relate to that because we had to deliver a lot of really controversial things on the news.
Sure.
And we would hope that when we were just doing our jobs, that we weren't blamed when we were just executing, the message. In no way am I trying to relate our work to that of law enforcement. But my point is it's tough when you're in a position where you're just trying to do your job. And then a lot of people don't agree with how you've been charged to execute that job.
Right. I feel like ICE, that entire department is for many people public enemy number, one. And it's a situation that I will not comment on.
Right.
The only thing I will comment on is this. And when people want to say, use words and say, talk negatively about, the United States, because we are not perfect. We are still growing and learning. But it's people that forget that we have the freedom in this country that you can be vocal on social media and say your opinions about the country and the departments and all the things. I mean, we have that freedom. And so it's kind of the irony to me. It's not lost. I'm thinking to myself, you hate it so much, but especially for me, as vocal as I am, I have the freedom because of this country to share my opinions, my thoughts, and my feelings without walking outside and getting captured by the government because I just spoke out against
something
them.
Tells me, were you currently residing in another country, you'd probably be behind bars.
You would be behind or in front of a firing squad. I mean, in front of a firing squad if you were in some of these countries.
As opinionated as we are, or as vocal as we are, it would not end well. I remember that girl group from Russia. It was awful. They had a very like inappropriate or provocative name, and they
No.
were kind of the rallying cry for women's independence, and they were jailed. I think it was in Russia.
Oh,
They were kind of like
That would be us.
the Gwen Stefani,
oh, that would be us.
group. I mean, and
Oh,
I
yeah.
just remember thinking how crazy, because here we're back from the days of, Two Live Crew and all the inappropriate lyrics and people, smashing records at press conferences. So it's kind of interesting how now we see in our children some of that same pushing the envelope with their dialogue.
Listen. And it's like, it's like my oldest and I were talking about this. It's like, if you've seen it, and it's true, like Taylor Swift, and much respect to her. I'm not a Swiftie, but I'm not a Swiftie, if that makes sense. Like, it's like, I respect her. I think she's a tremendous artist. And, she writes songs about the men who, have wronged her or whatever. But it's like, we had Stevie Nicks. Not only was she going to write about you, she made her ex sing the lyrics as she's looking at him on the stage. Like, so our generation.
Silver Springs.
Yes, we are like the OGs of, like, we'll cut you.
It's interesting you bring up Taylor, because I did hear somebody say, a critic, that it's kind of like when you think of somebody going through an emotional period in their life that challenges their psyche, that she writes better and has more entertaining lyrics and songs when she's between men, is what someone said. I thought that was kind of sad but funny, right? Because then you do your best work when you've been dumped, but now she's happily engaged and everything's coming up roses.
Well, I guess that would make sense, because some of my best posts are probably when I'm angry. When I have been, that leads me to like the next thing. Like, there was a post that went viral this week, and I think Tara and I will form the unofficial Unhinged Women's Club. And it was something that happened. You and I were Tara and I were starting a communications firm years ago.
Well, let's qualify it. It was a consulting
Boutique
firm in response to circumstances in our lives where we were both concerned about the stability of our jobs.
Right. And also doing a lot of work for free behind the scenes. We were doing a lot of small schools were calling us, asking for our communication expertise,
right,
helping them address crisis communication. So for a good 2 years, we were quietly behind the scenes, not getting paid, and helping write press releases, helping to write, doing crisis communication. Let's just sum it up. So then we said, why don't this should be our thing, right? This should be our business. So Tara and I would go around Iowa and have all these small meetings with these small to medium-sized school districts. Very long story short, you could tell that some of these schools were never going to hire us, but they wanted to have this meeting with us to kind of see who we were really.
These broads as really obnoxious as we've heard.
Right, like we were kind of like the zoo animals. So
what do we look like in person? I feel like it's like, in person they've really let themselves go. No one said this. We're, making this up, but it's probably pretty accurate.
So we had found out that it was told to us by multiple people in school districts that somebody else who was kind of doing a similar thing, was saying, you don't want to hire Amanda Goodman because she's a ticking time bomb. She's unhinged. And so this was my face. I was like, again, used to it, because I'm used to people labeling me.
And it's so easy. And I think people do it without even, it's a subconscious default that if there is a woman who in whatever way, shape, or form is trying to project herself as an authority on something, if there are male counterparts in your midst who aren't happy about your attempt to influence and have power, quote unquote, it's very easy for people to default to telling another man, well, she's a little off, she's unhinged, right? And so we all know, any of us who've ever been in the workplace, how quickly, because we're emotional creatures, everybody shifts the narrative to, I'm sure Amanda was just overreacting, or I'm sure, Tara was unhinged. And so we just empathize with all of you that have ever been in those HR moments where you finally, let your guard down and you either cried or you got upset, or you got angry, or you lashed out. I mean, which has been the
Look.
basis for a lot of our show.
I mean, here's the thing. So this person worked in the vicinity of where I worked at one point, opposite ends of schedules. Okay. And
so that was hurtful because
that was hurtful. And I thought there was a 2-lane road of respect because I had respect for this individual. So I am done apologizing that people felt that I was unhinged because I responded to a boss
Correct.
calling me a fat effing hippo.
Absolutely.
Right. So I'm not apologizing for saying, guess what? You're not going to talk to me like
well,
that.
and that's the thing, that person, or a lot of people, you've never walked in the shoes of someone, especially a woman, who has felt less than based entirely on gender. That's the key, right?
Yes.
It's entirely gender based. So a man will never be able to relate despite similar wrongs that have been impacted on that group of people. So
Yeah.
in no way are we saying men don't get, crapped on at work, but what we're, in this case, it was easy to label her because she's a woman. This would have never been said if it were another man. They
No.
would have never said, well, he's a ticking time bomb.
Well,
he's ready to blow.
This is what upset me. This is what upset me. And I will just say it right now. When you are running the communications and social media for a place for 2 years behind the scenes without getting paid, and doing
You
a really
feel
good job.
taken advantage of.
Well, taken advantage
Yeah.
of, but there are things that women, I know what I'm good at, right? And doing messaging
your
and social
worth.
media, I know that I'm good at that. And so I know I was good at that for 2 years. And then to have a situation, to know that somebody else swooped in, said ticking time bomb, and all of a sudden I'm no longer doing this when I was supposed to then get paid for that. It's
deflating.
2 + 2 = 4. So then it's like, but that's okay though. So then and people are like, did you retaliate? Did you do this? I don't retaliate. And that's the difference. People think that just because I'm unhinged that I'm going to, I don't retaliate. You know why? Because I will not hold someone else's head underwater. So I stay afloat. Because that's weak.
Right. It doesn't serve us well in any aspect. And we know
I can swim on my own.
Yeah. We've lived this, that sometimes it's a tough situation and you're wronged or you're hurt, but then you walk away from it. And then in our situation, we've just evolved to other circumstances and opportunities where then we say, okay, that wasn't meant for me. Thank you, God, for closing that door or having that person
rejection is
do us dirty because we moved on. All right. We have to jump to the comments. This is so exciting. It's like, a live interactive game here. We're playing game show. We just
Levi, stop calling my phone. I can see that you're joining us right now. So Levi Hirsch, stop calling us.
Did you ever watch Pressure Luck?
Oh, no whammy.
Isn't that a great show? And I always thought if there was one game show I would have liked to host, it would be Pressure Luck. All right. So good morning, Dina. And we said hello to Kelly, Jeannie or Jean, Danielle, Rebecca Hackman, our friend. Hope you're doing well. And Levi, well, my bad. I forgot you are fancy. Enjoy that phone ring. All right. So that's our first comment, courtesy of our friend Levi Hirsch in Waverly. So we thank you for joining the group chat. And if you are just joining the broadcast, we can see quite a few of you are watching. This is our first foray into the rebranded and rebirthed morning show called The Group Chat. And the goal is every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, we will go live from 7 to 8 Central before we go to our day jobs. And we really hope that if you're around, you can join us. And if, much like the podcast, you want to watch or listen on your own time, we are streaming across 2 platforms, our YouTube channel, which is Faith in 4-Letter Words appropriately. And then, of course, our Facebook page, Faith in 4-Letter Words, where we often interact the most with a lot of people. And just thank you for showing up both on Facebook, on social media, and in person. We have a lot of shows coming up scheduled all the way through December of this year. Hard to believe. So next week we're going to be in Traer, and then the following week, finally making it to PDC, as they call it. I had to pause and think the acronym, Prairie du Chien, a place we've loved to talk about because for years as news anchors, we covered Prairie du Chien, and now we're going to have a chance to be at the Waterfront Hotel, thanks to Cactus and Cove, Malaya and some incredible ladies who wanted to bring us up north. So we are excited to see you there.
Yeah, I'm excited. I'm sorry. I'm looking at my phone right now because I'm making sure my family is awake and ready to go to school.
Yes,
when Mama's
we
not
have to be
there-
mothers too.
Yeah,
and so when she came this morning, we actually talked and interacted with my son. And so it was sad to think that now he's, you know, like a grown man. And then when she first met my son, my baby, who's now 17, he was so little. And when he first saw her, he thought she was me. And he like grabbed her leg in the parking lot of the TV station.
He was holding onto my leg because he thought I was Tara. And then he looked up and he realized that is not, and he realized that like this woman's leg feels a lot shorter than my mom's. Which when we sat down, Tara
probably a lot thinner too.
Tara is not sitting up straight because she feels bad for me. Tara is very tall and she's all torso.
Yes, I'm all upper body. So this is me being like the straight spine, but
I look like I should be in a tree making cookies.
Well, gosh. But my sister and I this week, we were just talking about how during that, like we both had that weight gain over the holidays. I started to notice I was getting that double chin, and you're like in photos, you know how they always say like, you know, stretch up. So the key is when people are taking photos now, we want you to walk up to a higher vantage point. If you have to stand on a chair, a ladder, a stool, and then shoot down on us so that our neck is taut in the photo. My mom is watching. Good morning, Joanne from Peoria, Illinois. We have Barbie. She is watching from Colorado Springs. We love this. Okay?
You look like a very much like a 90s rap video. Remember how they used to come
in? Oh, yeah, we're coming in like Queen Latifah.
That's
and
funny.
Melissa, our friend in Manchester. So excited for you guys and to see where this takes you. She's been one of our OG supporters. We really appreciate the support of people like Melissa. And we should also mention that if you have any comments, constructive criticism, or just straight up, you know, venting that you want to share, we have on this, it's called StreamYard, which is kind of cool. The streaming platform, we have the ability to see the comments in real time. And so we would love to hear from you because we want you to be a part of the conversation.
Hence the group chat. So let's talk about intentions. We're not talking about resolutions for 2026.
Okay, good.
We're talking about intentions. Do you have any intentions for this year?
A big one is trying to be intentional about with our kids' sports schedules. There is no way with our son playing 2 sports. There is no way really in season for basketball now and then baseball that we can have a family meal. I mean, the hours of practice and the games and the travel is just overwhelming. And so I'm just trying to be intentional, like I was at midnight last night, going downstairs when my son was finishing up a project and just going in his room and talking to him and just catching up. Because honestly, sometimes with my job, him going to basketball, baseball, or having a game, I might not ever have more than a hi and bye conversation with him during the course of a day, which is sad because that's how fast it goes.
Well, you know, and I think that you talk about sports and stuff. And I'm going to say this to, if you're watching and you have kids who are super little and you're doing all the things and all the, you know, and the trainers and the practices, it doesn't matter.
Good.
Like, I mean,
that's
like,
right. We know this.
We know this.
Lived
like, it does not matter. And I want to share this. My daughter, I had just written a blog. I haven't posted it yet, but like when Gia was like 3, she first put on soccer cleats and we were living in North Carolina and she was like quick and fiery on the field. And my husband, a huge soccer fan, was so excited, right? And so I remember people were like, she scored 7 goals. Well, there's no goalie. Like, I hope, right? But that's when it started. And then we moved to Iowa, and then she was on club teams, and she was on national teams, and then she was doing ODP, and we were going to ID camps, and we were doing like all of the things. And we were doing recruiting visits, and we were doing, you know, calls from coaches and everything. And then she walked in our room last summer and was like, I don't want to play college soccer. I want that chapter to be done. Make sure we're listening to our kids, what they want. Make sure it's not your dream that's fueling all of this, because it is, you know, because selfishly, I wanted to have that moment with her coaches where she's on a signing day. I wanted to have that moment with her. I wanted to like watch her play in college. If social media didn't exist, would you have your kids in all of the things?
That's a great point, because we sometimes admittedly want that validation by sharing all the things. And I too can relate, because my daughter, Charlotte, who's now a sophomore in college, she was playing high level basketball for years, was fortunate that they had really good teams, went to state 3 out of her 4 years. And then same with track. She had the opportunity to go to do the Drake relays, go to state track, and had really good times, won, record breaking relay that she was a part of. So all the things did culminate similarly with her saying, I just don't want to do that in college. And I don't want to base where I go to college on where I could run track or play basketball. I want to pick the college that's best for, the best fit for me. And so that is exactly like she said, a moment where you then say, okay, let's evaluate all of the time, the travel, the money that we put into a sport. And I don't regret all that she did, because she loved the camaraderie and is still close with some of these travel basketball girls and teammates. But now we're in the same circumstances with our sons where they're playing high school sports, but we want to give them that grace of, you sort of navigate it without feeling this unspoken pressure.
Yeah. And I think that's what I'm being most intentional about this year, is live in the moment and just not take everything so seriously. Not everything has like this end game. Enjoy that moment. It's so funny because if you would see me on the soccer sidelines with my oldest, it's like I'm leaning in, I'm like intense. And if you see me with my 8-year-old, this is how I watch games. Like, it's just like, and it doesn't matter.
And to your credit, you are the parent who, having played basketball in college, you coach some of these youth teams.
Yeah.
Which is cool, because when you have that background and that knowledge, it's nice that volunteers that actually know the sport are volunteering to coach.
It helps.
But she also has had those weeks where she said to her kids, listen, we've had a crazy week. It's been too much for mom, and we're not going to go to the 10th tournament of, this one season out of 18 years of your, formative life. So who cares?
Because it doesn't matter. Because
right.
I want to tell you something. Everything is a business. Everything is a business. Every ID camp,
sports is booming.
Every tournament, like, there are no major college coaches sitting at any youth tournament. Like, I don't know how to tell you that. Like, when your kid is good, they will find your child. They find your child. So they're not, if you're paying, like, because I know you're stressing out right now. Like, if I don't pay to go to this ID tournament that costs $725 just for day one, they're not going to go. They're not there. Like, they're not there. It's just,
well, and now we've seen, which is another topic for another day, we've seen how the transfer portal has brought the level of professional sports down to the college scene.
It's ruined it.
So what we've seen, and we've talked to parents and who've experienced this, your kid goes into a college situation, even at a JUCO, and they will then be around all these older kids that have transferred in, or kids that are sort of in that holding pattern to try to get to a 4-year school. So now there's one extra layer of kind of get in line before you may even touch the field. So that's, again, we can talk ad nauseum about youth sports.
I think people should be more intentional this year. If you have children who are athletes, if you have children who are in the arts, sit down with your kids, especially if they're in those high school years. Hey, what do you want? What does your future look like? What do you want to do? Because it was a conversation that I waited too long, because I thought that we were just going along with her. So when I finally said to Gia, hey, what do you want? And she just kind of the floodgates open, and she's like, this is what, and that to me, like, so now we're waiting, because she did early decision for all of the schools, and I'm waiting for her to, and it's the coolest thing. And you had the same thing with Charlotte, because this is their decision. This is the first major decision that they're making on their own. And I'm like giddy with excitement. And, but I see a lot of myself in her, which I love. Some of the spicy stuff can stop, but I mean, that she's ready for an adventure, that she's not afraid to get out of the little bubble. I mean, because when I left Pennsylvania, and I moved across the country to Texas, I'm so young, didn't know anybody, and like my husband was the same way, left South America, went to Long Island, didn't know anybody. So the fact that our oldest now has that sense of like, I want to leave the state. I want to go far away. I want to see what's outside of that bubble. I couldn't be more proud.
Agree. And that's how I feel about my daughter. When she ended up picking an out-of-state college, I wasn't sad, because of course we miss her, but then this is the great opportunity when you're young, and in her case, doesn't have a mortgage, isn't married, doesn't have children. She can actually see what it's like elsewhere and sort of
Yes.
get outside the bubble. We have a comment I want to read from Gina. Intentional to make time, make plans for friends and family. The years go by, and if I don't make plans, they don't happen. Love you, ladies, from Rockwell, Iowa. Well, we love Rockwell, and thank you for that comment. You know, here's the thing about that, the making plans, because we both are, you know, as are many women are guilty of, you will commit to something because 4 weeks before it happens, in your mind, you intentionally say, I would like to go to that. I would like to be a part of that. And then when the day comes and you've been up like me since midnight and you didn't have, or you know, were up until midnight and you didn't get a lot of sleep, when that event or that time rolls around, it's hard to even have the energy because you're just mentally and physically exhausted. So I think for me, I have to admit, and we just had this conversation yesterday, it's okay if you put up sort of boundaries that are healthy. And I hate that cliche sometimes of, oh, you know, healthy boundaries, because you can't do a lot of boundaries if you're a working parent and you have children. You have to do all the things. But what we said that isn't wrong is if the time, the engagement, the people, if it doesn't serve you well, if it doesn't enhance your life, if it's not making you a better person, can't you pour your time and your energy elsewhere? And I think that's the key, is do that kind of litmus test and be intentional about, if I go to this event, I'm actually going to have my bucket filled. If I go to this event, I might be drained and annoyed because I might not feel that the people in my midst are genuine.
I mean, there is nothing wrong laying on the couch all weekend in oversized sweats, binge watching your favorite show or reading a book. That is self-care. And I think we're so trained, especially as women, to be on the go. Like if we're not doing something all the time, then we're lazy. We have no drive. I don't want to have drive right on the weekend. I want to be sewn to the couch because I'm exhausted. I'm absolutely.
When you're not sewn to the grass at a soccer
when
tournament.
I'm not sewn to the grass. I mean, I'm already, like right now, like I'm already thinking
the schedule. And,
like, I know we have basketball tonight. I'm coaching basketball tomorrow morning. And then Sunday, we're back in indoor soccer for the youngest two. And it's all Sunday. And I'm sitting there thinking, and I'm like looking
at you dreading it a little bit?
I'm dreading it a little bit because I'm like, I need downtime to like hit the reset button. And then I'm thinking, when am I watching my Eagles? I mean, they play Sunday. I mean, it's just, so I am long gone are the days where I want to be overscheduled and I want to be somewhere and I don't want to be on. I just kind of want to, you know, whip the hair up.
And that's a combination of being more comfortable in your own skin and age, because with age comes the ability to shed some of all the things that we're trying to do just to keep up appearances. And it's so freeing. And I love, my mom is watching now. She'll be 81 in February. And it's great for me to see in her how she just lets, you know, a lot of things go. And so all of those women that have come before us, they understand that, like we've talked about with the younger women, do it now, because you don't have to struggle for 10, 20 years and then wake up at 40 and say, wow, this is really refreshing that I said no for the first time in my life.
And no is a complete sentence. And I think for women, if we say no, we feel like we have to explain ourselves and we have to give a reason why. Just say no. It's going to take you a while to get used to it, but just say no. And like people's faces will be like, yeah, do you want to come? No. And my favorite thing out of a Friends episode was Phoebe. And it was one of these episodes where I think they were moving, or it was helping like Ross move into one of his apartments. And Phoebe says, oh, I wish I could, but I don't want to. And I remember, I'm like, that resonates. So I'm like, I just don't want to. And it's nothing personal. Like,
exactly.
I will never make plans over the weekend on like a Monday, because Monday Amanda and Friday Amanda are two different
people.
I am like, because I will start the week feeling energized. By the end of the week, I'm absolutely depleted. It's kind of like when I started my car this morning, you know, evening pulling in from work, me is isn't
that the truth? Because you're all positive in the morning, and then at night you're just very snappy.
Man,
you can be very snappy.
Obviously, the fly stays on my station, on my Sirius
in
the car.
That.
So, I mean, I was bumping when I pulled into the driveway last night. But this morning, no, thank you. I need to ease into my day.
That makes sense. So if you're just joining us, or you've been joining and you haven't we didn't do a station ID yet, right? A state like that's
Time
so
Time out.
dated to say that.
I'm seeing a comment.
I know.
Mary
I
Jansen,
was just going to
Mary
bring her
Jansen
into the
and your
conversation.
Go 49ers. You're choosing violence today, ma'am. You are choosing.
Our friend Mary said, preach, love a good lazy weekend, and adding also go 49ers. I am also very anti 49ers because my kids make fun of me for saying this. I'm Bears by birth, Seahawks by marriage, and the Seahawks' biggest rival is the 49ers.
I mean, I'm a little Mary's choosing violence today. Mary's choosing violence today. So
I have to bring my mother's comment in. Joanne says, amen. It will all change when the kids are gone and there are no events to go to for your kids. Then you have your grandkids to take that place. And that's so true. My mom is very involved in her grandchildren's lives, all 4 of them. I have 2. My sister in Peoria has 2. And so what's great is my niece, who's in 7th grade, my mom picks her up after middle school every day. And it's just such a gift that my sister's family is so close. And then my mom will make it to all of the stuff for my kids and has for many years. So as we always talk about in the show, if you have those moms and grandmas who are supporting you in this thing called parenting, be grateful that they're there and they're not just your nanny or your chauffeur or your babysitter.
Well,
they're somebody who you want to include and have adult conversation.
And be grateful
with.
Because some of us live far away.
Yeah,
my children
right.
don't have my I've always felt bad for my children because on grandparents they don't have anybody. My parents are in Pennsylvania. Their other set of grandparents are in South America. So we've never had that.
Right.
So so that's it. So be grateful and embrace and
don't take them for granted. So Mary said, bring it.
You all up in that.
I know. I'm sorry. I have to. I don't.
Maybe if you wore glasses.
Maybe if
you
know.
have the trifocals on.
And then Bonnie Anderson said, so sweet. Thank you for that comment. Again, if you want to comment, we are live, at least for this hour. And then when it's recorded and played back, it can be watched at any time on YouTube. And the Facebook Live will also be a recording that will last, but I think it's only for like 30 days until Facebook drops it. So we'll permanently be housed on our YouTube channel because we're like gamers. Like and subscribe, unbox our toys.
Oh gosh, please don't. the children who are making millions while the rest of us do 9-to-5 jobs. We are the suckers in life. So I want to talk about what are we watching on TV? Like what is everybody, what are we binge watching now?
Stop the Presses, Landman. You could not.
This is with Billy Bob Thornton.
You could not have cast a better person than Billy Bob to play Tommy on Landman. For those of you who watch, every show every week has some great quip or line. I think Taylor Sheridan, who also, of course, did the Yellowstone series with Kevin Costner, I think he puts out some amazing character development, and, some of it is entertainment, so it can be far-fetched, but I'm telling you, I mean, it just gives you the sense of, wow, I really understand now what it's like for those guys who, grind it out at those oil fields. And of course, what I love about it is they have now brought Sam Elliott in as his dad. And if your husband or your boyfriend knows Roadhouse and some of those old school movies with Sam Elliott, I mean, he's an icon.
Yeah, he is an icon. I haven't watched that. I'm on Netflix. I'm watching the Runaway.
I haven't watched Netflix. Tell me the premise.
It's based in England. A college girl runs away and they're trying to piece it together. And it's one of those psychological thrillers like whodunit. And it's,
that sounds really good.
But it's hard for me because when I'm in bed, I have to fall asleep with the TV because growing up where I went, you always hear like noise and like traffic and stuff. So I have to fall asleep with like noise. And so my go-to show is Gilmore Girls. I fall asleep to Gilmore Girls because it's like I can just like ease back. So you really have to be paying attention. And then once I'm in bed, but like last night, of course, I was watching football, but on Netflix, that's a good one. And it's the number one show on Netflix right now.
Okay, I'm going to have to check that out. Now, also on Netflix is The Beast in Me with Claire Danes. And it's very much, thriller.
Her facial expressions are
that. Okay, this is what I had to tell you.
Yeah,
so if
you're
a TikTok person, you will be very amused when you find that there are many people who do impressions of Claire Danes in her voice and in her delivery style. And they talk as if they're, trying to emulate Claire Danes in a way that has nothing to do with the content of the actual show. So it's like, what? I have to get my son to the doctor appointment. I mean, they do this.
Yeah,
It's really dramatic because she's just so demonstrative. And so it's hilarious. I mean, and I stumbled upon this because, TikTok serves up this stuff on your For You page. So now that I'm talking about it with my phone in my midst, I will be probably seeing this Claire Danes imitation stuff on TikTok for months to come.
She does too
and
much.
They also have impressions on TikTok that are hilarious. Guys doing them of Blake Lively on, what is that? The End of Us. That show.
Yeah.
Is that what it's called?
I don't remember. I read the book.
There's so many shows though, that if you are a fan, it's so great when they have, multi-season development, but then by the time the new season comes out, you forgot. So a new season that just came out, The Pit, love it. It's based on an emergency room in Pittsburgh, hence The Pit. That one really gets your adrenaline going, and it can be kind of stressful. And spoiler alert, my friend told me that the inaugural episode of season 2 involves eye pus, and it was very graphic. So she was sorry if you're eating
like
breakfast.
That word, enjoy that bagel there with a side.
Okay, we got to add this. So Bonnie said, I like documentaries, true crime. She's all about Dateline. And then Danielle said, Victoria on Netflix. Thank you. My all-time favorite is Downton Abbey. And my mom said, my mom as well loves it. She said, I have to watch Victoria. And then I actually like Bridgerton, which is like Downton Abbey light, because it's not as well written.
I stopped watching it because I don't need to, I don't watch, I don't need tons of sex. I'm not watching sex when I'm watching TV. I don't need to see it. You're up there doing your thing.
Pretty much eliminates 80%.
I just don't like it. And it's kind of like when I read books, I won't read.
Well, my mom just said she loves Landman. She just watched Runaway. She said, okay, Melissa, our friend, she got sucked into the morning show with Jennifer Aniston and Reese Witherspoon. Now that I think about it, it's likely the same female support theme in that show that sucked me in. Similar to you guys, with way more drama. Emily, her daughter, and I always watch a show together, and it was her turn to pick. So Stranger Things it is, which my son and my daughter both love Stranger Things. I haven't gotten into it. I'm not a sci-fi person, but I think I need to give it a shot because I did love Game of Thrones despite initial reservations. And then, you watch it and then you're like, oh my gosh, now I do understand why this was popular. Okay, back to the morning show. Absolutely incredible. Spot on. This new season of the morning show is actually better, I thought, than the previous seasons, but this is the unexpected twist. I had the crazy opportunity over the holidays. My close college friend's husband works for NBC. And so my family on a trip out there for New Year's got to go tour all of the NBC studios. So we got to go to the Saturday Night Live set, Jimmy Fallon, Seth Meyers, Kelly Clarkson, and the Today Show and Nightly. I couldn't help myself. I turned to 2 of the Today Show, the Gribbs or the showrunners, the APs, the behind the scenes folks, some of obviously whom were there, but this isn't during the time when the show was in production. So the anchors were not present. And I said, hey, do you guys watch the morning show? Because I feel like it's such an accurate depiction of how things were with Matt Lauer, played by Steve Carell. And then it evolves throughout, the seasons. And they looked at me and they were like, I've never heard of it. Can you believe this?
They probably have been sworn to secrecy. They signed NDAs.
So I pictured they're consulting and everyone's talking about it. And the people who work on the Today Show never heard of it.
I don't believe it.
Thought was hilarious.
I don't believe it.
Well, these were guys, and they were young.
Yeah.
They were young.
They were
I'm
young.
sure they know Stranger Things, but isn't that funny that they were like, "Oh, I've never."
The morning show was an absolute, and I hate the overuse of the word trigger, but it was an absolute trigger for me.
Oh, you mean hearing that title?
No.
You mean
the show?
Oh, the show. Oh, yes.
It's very much like television. It's very much everything. What
I related to so much of it in the most recent season that I texted her and I was like, "You have to watch this because it will be kind of like a replay of scenes in your head
Well,
that you
and
buried.
and also I want people to know, like watching, everyone thinks that being a television news anchor is very easy. You just get up and read a prompter. Well, Reese Witherspoon and Jennifer Aniston's characters in there prove that they're wonderful actresses, horrible news anchors.
Mhm.
Like they are absolutely,
They're acting the news.
they are
Mhm.
horrible. Like when they're up there on the anchor desk, and like I'm cringing because I'm like, they are awful as like anchors, because it's not as easy as
Yeah.
it seems.
Okay, sure glad to
Mm.
see you two together. Our friend Alice, hoping you do more of these videos. Yes, Alice has been a staunch supporter, and she kept messaging us saying, when are you going to go live again? And we so appreciate her loyalty and her interest. So starting next week, reminder, every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, awake or half asleep at 7 a.m. Central, we will be live. And what a blessing that technology has given us the ability to do our sort of impromptu studio from anywhere, and then we can multi-stream. Again, thanks to how tech has advanced on 2 platforms. So our Facebook page and then our YouTube channel. So if you're somebody who might want to watch a show another time, or you only caught part of this and you'd like to watch it in its entirety, you can go to Faith in 4 Letter Words YouTube channel and like and subscribe. And we may unbox a toy. No, I just had to say that because all of us have watched like Ryan and all those crazy videos all those years on YouTube.
Who are millionaires?
But now they're saying this is where the middle-aged moms hang out as well. So we're jumping on the YouTube bandwagon. Bonnie Anderson, I want to go to New York, but worried about safety. Valid point. My friend, another friend, my 4-year college roommate from Kings Park, Long Island, is married to a former NYPD Times Square captain. And he said the safest place to be on New Year's Eve in the city is Times Square. They had 6,000 undercover and uniformed officers present. So I probably saw more police than I did tourists. No joke. That's how many police were there. So that was a really good experience. Okay, Barbie, you should definitely check out Stranger Things. Hadn't watched it at all until about 3 weeks ago, and we watched the whole thing and finished it a couple days ago. Really good. And our friend, bonjour, our French friend Monique, she said, I will be glad to see you again in Prairie du Chien. She's an incredible artist. We both have some of her landscape work hanging. I do in my office. And she has just been another one who's come to multiple shows. So merci, we appreciate you. And just thanks to everybody for continuing this unexpected train of Faith in 4 Letter Words rolling on.
Yeah, we're booked all the way through 2026, which we're really excited about. We have 2 books that are out and on Amazon, best-selling books, and then we have children's books in the process of being. So I think that's the most important thing, to start having conversations with our kids, sons and daughters, about how to empower them and to use their voice and to be unapologetically themselves, and to teach them very early on not to fit in a box.
And I'm so proud that you came up with that idea, and it just has resonated. We've had a lot of people reach out excited about the prospect of putting that women empowerment message into the young people, the young children. Really, boys and girls need that message at an early age. And so this book is a great example of how we went through, and some of you went through, that feeling of being labeled bossy because as a young girl you were assertive or had found your voice. And I definitely found my voice because my mom always said she could walk into a classroom or walk into a room and she didn't need to see me, she could hear me because I was so loud and I love to talk.
Well, yeah, all the nuns told me in Catholic school my entire life that I would never get paid to talk. So I mean, it's the biggest thing is stop making everybody fit into the round peg. I mean, like, not everybody's going to fit into the round hole. Like, if you're a square peg, like, let everybody be who they want to be, and it's just, and why is your way the right way? It's kind of like which I wanted to talk about today. Everybody has an opinion of things, of people. Okay, what I find it very interesting is there's so many people who have opinions of me, and that's okay. Like, you can have whatever opinion, but please understand this: you are entitled to have whatever opinion you want of me or anybody. We are also entitled to have an opinion about you as well. So it's the selective outrage that
That's tough. Yes, that's
this
frustrating.
week was really on full display.
Oh, for sure.
And that was really interesting to see.
Yeah, and here's how that plays out. And we've talked about this a lot. If you've never been somebody who had a role, a position, or a circumstance where you were public facing, and what we mean by that is putting yourself out there for all to see, scrutinize, and for the peanut gallery to pick you apart. If you've never experienced that, I have found that it's really tough when the tables turn and those keyboard trolls dish it out. It's very hard for them to take. And so many, many times we've had situations on our pages, on our feeds, or in our work where something was said by somebody who was so big and bold and bad behind the keyboard because they were fishing for likes and people, validating their level of, I'm going to check this lady. And as soon as it devolves to people clapping back at them, they take it down. Oh, I'm just going to delete that, because you don't feel comfortable acknowledging and recognizing that what's good for the goose is good for the gander, to date myself with an old phrase. If you criticize somebody, as she just said, expect that maybe somebody doesn't agree with you or has something not so nice to say about you. And you have to learn, if you can dish it out, you need to take it. And so we are the queens of dishing it out and then taking it. And the dishing out, like she said, sometimes is simply because we have a right to stand up for, have a voice, and say something, and not just smile and look cute like we had to try to do on television.
Well, because it's people will treat you and mishandle you in a certain way. And like for me, I can speak only for me. I'm expected to take the high road when it's disrespect and mishandling. And it was like, there was a woman recently who I know very loosely, and we had an interaction that was
I thought you were going to say she was loose.
Well, she could be, who knows?
That's so
we
funny.
had an interaction years ago, and it was not a positive interaction. And I'm not going to share my side of the story of what happened. I'm not going to share the truth, but this person has apparently for like a decade, more than a decade now, is like, I don't like her. And I'm not a fan of her. I don't like you either. But there was so much outrage. What? Like, so you can go around and talk about me incessantly when you don't even know me. But when I say, well, I'm not really a fan either, now you're outraged. Like, it doesn't work like that, because I'm built a little differently, and it's the East Coast in me. Like, if I clap back, you may cry.
Well, that's not
wrong.
It's
not, because it's,
and that's what I should say too, though. You need to qualify that that's not your intention. It's just you having a right to defend a situation where you had a grenade thrown at you when you weren't at war. You didn't even know that the person had an issue. That's the thing. You don't, and when it's brought to your attention, it's so weird, because then many of you can relate to this. You're thinking, I'm surprised they're wasting so much time and energy on me because I haven't even thought about them. I mean, okay, real you allow.
You want me to read some of those?
What you allow will continue, right?
Right.
Standing up for yourself is the least you can do. And thank you for that phrase. Thank you for reminding us, because that phrase, of all the things that we've shared that she coined, it resonates so much with people. And I love it, because we're not condemning you. We're just pointing out, if you continue to allow it, then you can expect more of it. And that's okay, because for some of us, we don't have a choice, right? We're going to have to continue to show up at that toxic work environment for the time being, to engage with that person or family member that we may not love. But if it's somebody who's an immediate family member, it's just part of life, right? But what she's saying, and where she's putting the line in the sand, is if you are able to walk away, have a healthy boundary, or make a change, you don't have to feel guilty about it, because for your self-care, you are going to stop it from continuing.
Yeah. Well, it is. It's what you allow will continue. Every day you are deciding how people are going to talk to you and how people are going to treat you every single day.
You're leaning back now. Should I lean
back?
back?
No, you're good. No, good. No, I'm very comfortable. It's you're going to condition people.
Yeah.
And you can set the tone, and there's nothing wrong with that. Like, I live my life with this. People say, oh, she's this and she's that. I do no harm. I take no SHIT. That's it. Like, it's like, that's it. That's all it is. Like, I literally,
in our show, she would actually say it, but
I would say it, but I don't know.
We're spelling it out.
I'm used to being on TV. And it's like, am I allowed to say
Yeah.
that?
Well, you're also very funny. That's the thing. So people who know her well, like Mary and others, you will understand this, that she has hilarious lines and quips and witty comebacks that are very entertaining to me. And what my all-time favorite over the last I've known you now since 2013.
Long
So
time.
the last
13
we're
years.
going on 13
I know,
years.
lucky 13.
That's scary that we were that young when we met.
Yeah.
And now, here we are. So this is so funny. We were listening to an old podcast when we were driving to one of our shows, and it was,
I know exactly
I
what you're gonna
almost
say.
wrecked the car. I was laughing so hard. So we were on the podcast talking about this woman who initially loved her and felt like, she was adjacent to fame because Amanda was the news anchor. And then as soon as times, the
When
tide
I didn't
turned,
align,
the tide turned, then this
Yes. person
was not only like distancing herself from her, but she was like vocal about her disdain for Amanda. So Amanda said that initially this woman's head was so far up her ass that she diagnosed her ulcerative colitis before the doctors did.
It's
I
true.
thought that is like, you can take that on the road in a stand-up routine. I mean, I was dying. It was
And
priceless.
I'm pretty sure I said it in the most dead serious.
Oh yeah, deadpan delivery.
Like
it was perfect.
I used to tell my parents all the time I should be a stand-up. My dad would say, "Yeah, sure, you're real funny. Like I'm real hilarious."
So we are down to the last 5 minutes, and time flies when we're having fun. And for those of you who have stuck it out for this whole hour and who, delayed doing all the things you're going to do on your Friday, we thank you. And it's just a conversation, again, a group chat that we want to continue to have because it's a two-way street for us. It is cathartic for us to share and process what we're going through as working moms, wives, parents, daughters, sisters. And then in turn, we would love to hear from you because we learn from you and we embrace what you have to say in your life experience, especially proud of the all ages and stages approach we have to Faith in 4-letter words. So whether you're 95 or 25, we care, value you, and we want to have a relationship with you. And because of social media, we can have a relationship with a lot of people that we genuinely would not have time to talk with or see were it not for technology. So thank you for that.
Absolutely. And I want to end with my stuff. And I know we're going to talk about, we'll ground everybody with an hour of faith, but the 4-letter word of the day for me and for you, I hope is done. Let's end the week with being done. And what that word means, it's clarity, right? We have in our first book, in our best-selling book, and we also talk about in the show is every woman specifically should have a hell no list. What are things you will no longer tolerate in your professional and your personal life? So what are we done with, right? And I am done living up to other people's expectations of me. I'm going to continue to be the best version of myself.
Excellent.
So I am just absolutely done fitting into someone else's box.
That's so good because we can't control how people perceive us or talk about us. So we just have to be comfortable being ourselves.
Just bless and release those people.
And our verse of the day is straight out of the Bible app. If you use the YouVersion Bible app, it's such a great way to stay grounded if you are a person of faith. John 15:4. I love this. And when it came up this morning, I was like, this is so appropriate for how we're trying to approach our day. Remain in me as I also remain in you. No branch can bear fruit by itself. It must remain in the vine. Neither can you bear fruit unless you remain in me. And so what I take away from that, and I think it applies to all of our lives, we are not meant to do this thing called life alone. We should not be on an island. So wherever you find that connection, be it with your spouse, one of your best friends, your mother, whomever gives you that ability to be human and to have that love and shared just common interest and common life experience, be grateful for those people because we know and we've seen it. There are a lot of people who end up alone in many unexpected ways, a death, a divorce, health challenges, and it breaks our heart to think of people that are isolated. So what a gift that the world of social media and technology allows us to come to you without a business or a script or an advertiser behind it. It's just the two of us chatting.
Yeah, it's been nice. It's been nice. And, she talked about that fruit on the tree. Don't worry. The rotten fruit will fall by themselves. Just gotta shake your tree in your life, right? The rotten fruit.
That's
always
right.
falls.
Shake your tree and whatever
Wasn't that a
falls,
song?
let it go.
It's like shake your. Who was it? It was Steve Miller Band, right?
Oh yes, yes. That
The
good
Joker?
reference.
Thank you.
I saw him at the Gorge in
Yeah,
Washington State.
I think when I was like, I smoked my first cigarette to the Steve Miller Band. The Joker. I know. Shame
Well,
on me. That's when it was cool.
we have a call coming in from our friend Chuck in Traer calling about our show on Wednesday. So we will close out with saying we'd love to see you in Traer, Prairie du Chien, or any of our towns near you throughout this year. Go to faithandfourletterwords.com. You can click to get a complete list of shows on Eventbrite. You can check out our merch, and you can also click to see on Amazon our 2 books, and then soon our children's books that will be available.
Yeah, we're excited about that. But make it a great day. Have a great weekend. And if you're at any youth sporting tournaments, I'll see you there. I'll be there.
Yeah, make it a great day. And thanks again for joining us.